Greetings and good day to everyone. It is the... Why am I staring at that for so long? 10th of April, 2019, 6 o'clock here in lovely Antelope, California. Hi. Northern California Airsoft Fields. Please follow U.S. Airsoft in Anderson, West Coast Adventure Park and Slough House, UKA's UKAUS in Galt, My Field Airsoft Ministry in Roseville, My Field, like I'm whatever. Let's move this to the... and SpeedQB City in Stockton, California. Coming up in Stockton, let's take a look at when that tournament is. In... Where's the date? Where's the date? I should have researched this. May 18th. In Stockton's a 3-on-3 speed tournament. That's going to be a variation of some sort of speed soft. Hit up them for that information. The official page for that is going to be CQB City_Stockton. Tell them I said hi. Make sure you register. I will most oh, no, I won't be there. I'm sorry. We are doing I think we're doing our sniper tournament that day. So I won't be there. I'm sure they'll survive. I'd do anything when I show up to these places anyway. It's like, hey, I'm here, and... yeah, the end. So, what is going on in our world now that has caused such a stir? And I've created its own video. SpeedQB has announced that they have broken up. They are no longer Facebook official relationship status with Tac City. And they've gone with their side chick. N1. Right? Yeah. If we can look at the official SpeedQB, the reason they cite, according to their post, where is it? Nope, that ain't it. Recent decisions by Tac City has affected who is able to participate at our events held at Tac City. While we don't agree with the decisions made, we will always respect and adhere to field policies. We decided that if our rules cannot be distinguished by SpeedQB, distinguished by SpeedQB, including the grounds in which a team is banned from competition, a venue change is necessary for our community. I'm going to assume, it is not specifically listed in here. I'm going to assume, I make the assumption that is related to the Tac City's banning of LTD. There's a previous video for that. I make that assumption. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. Could have nothing to do with that. I am under the assumption it is, basically given the timeline and given how much attention from the hardcore airsoft community that issue was given. Makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. If you're SpeedQB and you've, in the past, really only been having LA SpeedQB tournaments at Tac City says, hey, we're going to ban this team, and SpeedQB goes, we don't agree with that. Like, that means that they can't participate in our tournament, which is at your venue. Well, we don't agree with that for insert reason here, so we're going to change venues. Cool. Good for them. Great. Groovy. I have no issue with that. That makes logical sense. Let's break down why that makes sense. Let's look and if I think that's going to affect Tac City. Spoiler alert, no, it's not going to affect Tac at all. If we look at what SpeedQB is, first of all, let's get even bigger into this. In business, if you have a product, you generally have two categories of customers or users. Usually you're going to have your light users and your heavy users of a product. In airsoft, we usually see that in the form of like casual players and non-casual players, or I'm going to call them hardcore players. Your rental players, the guys that show up once a weekend and only play rentals, the guys that only play once a weekend at one field. They don't travel to other fields. They don't compete. Maybe they have a gun. Maybe they don't. Maybe they invest a bunch of money. Maybe they don't. A casual player is usually falls under that criteria, is what I would basically call that. A hardcore user, or a hardcore player, for example, is someone who is familiar with the various forms of competition, is familiar, maybe fixes their own guns, techs their own guns, knows about guns. They know the names, they know the brands, they know the history. They are involved in the airsoft community. They do more than just show up to one field once on a weekend, play, and that's it. That is more of a... How about this? If you follow me on Instagram, you're probably a hardcore user of airsoft. You're probably a hardcore player. If you are watching this video, there's a solid chance you would meet that hardcore criteria. Most likely, rental players have no idea who I am. They have no idea about these videos. They don't know what I'm talking about. Actually, if you're side on that, one of my next posts for the Airsoft Ministry is actually going to kind of address that and how it works into how we do our operations at Airsoft Ministry because of our survey. So that's cool. Check that out. Also, if you're playing at the Airsoft Ministry, please, I am begging you to fill out our Survey Monkey. All questions. Please, all questions. I'm begging you. So, Tac City. If we look at Tac City as a field, one of their main markets, I would say their main market, but I would say, I mean, Sonny has told me, and I agree with it because many fields experience, our field experiences the same way. The main customer base is the casual light user, light to casual, somewhere between light to, so like maybe a light user would be more like someone that just shows up on a Saturday or a Sunday, but not both days, and probably uses a rental gun. A casual user, probably the same thing. Probably they only play once a weekend. Maybe they have like a classic Army skirmisher. They haven't spent too much money on a gun. Somewhere kind of in that casual, versus like someone that's got like a $300-$400 high cap of plus their HBA setup. They have a mask that costs more than an airsoft gun. That's more of the hardcore side of that. Most fields make their main source of income from light or casual players, light users, casual players. SpeedQB does not. SpeedQB is a niche within a niche. SpeedQB is basically tailored towards hardcore users. The guys that fix their own guns, the guys that have $400 to $700 loadouts worth of multiple guns. They've got this gun, which is easily they could sell their cheapest gun right now and probably make $400 to $500. We established that base because SpeedQB's market, their customer base, their clientele is the hardcore player. They need to cater and understand the wants, needs, and desires of the hardcore player. The hardcores got pissed off at Tac City for banning LTD. If you look at the comments and things like that, the people that were using hashtag free LTD, most of them, if not all, were some form of a hardcore or at least a non-casual user. Maybe something in the middle of that, I suppose. But you really didn't see like rental players saying anything. You really didn't see like the occasional player saying it. It was the team guys. It was the team saying stuff, the competitive players saying stuff, the guys that own maybe multiple high kappas, Diamask, Big Mask, that level, the hardcore customer base. Excuse me. That was affecting that hardcore community. So it would make sense for SpeedQB as a brand to go, this is an issue within the hardcore airsoft community. It should be addressed. This could impact our next tournament. So if I'm SpeedQB and I see that all these people have this whap my microphone. All these players have boycotted TAC, or they have problems with TAC City. That could impact attendance at my next tournament. That's something that I, as a business person, need to take into consideration. So, where in Southern California, what is kind of the home field for the hardcore player? From what I've been told, it's generally, except from what I've been told, I've only played both fields once. From what I've been told, from what I see on social media, Project N1 is kind of the mecca for the hardcore player, from what I've told. TAC seems to be like the big popular field with like all the big notorieties and the fame, and it has all the stuff and the things and the whatever. N1 is like the players field. And going there, the one time that I went to each field, that was a big vibe. So like at Airsoft Con, you had all the big airsoft names that went to TAC City. They didn't go to N1. You didn't see Evike Matt or whatever his name is going there. You didn't see Jet the Desert Fox at N1. You didn't see that dude from Demolition Ranch at N1. You saw them at TAC. And I didn't hear that they had went to N1. So that tells me that the popular, like the Hollywood field, kind of like, you can see my hands, see my hilarious jazz hands. That would indicate to me that the popular field, or like the Hollywood field or whatever, is TAC City, which I kind of got that. I kind of got that vibe when I was in LA. And then the players field, like the local dive bar, so to speak, of fields is N1. That's the vibe I got. So it makes sense that SpeedQB would match up to would start doing business with N1 because it's a similar clientele. I would say the customer base is essentially the same. I am willing to bet that the tournament that the SpeedQB tournament that N1 does in, I believe they advertised November, I'm going to bet that more teams show up to the N1 tournament than at TAC City. And I'm going to bet that a decent part of that has to do with the move. Now, could you also throw in there that, well, TAC City was kind of like the home field for the first couple of tournaments, so that the SpeedQB as a brand was still establishing itself in a marketplace and still growing it? That's valid. That is a valid point. But even with that, I think that if SpeedQB would have stayed with TAC for the next tournament, I think they would have seen a drop in attendance. I think that now that N1 has picked him up, I think N1's going to get more teams than TAC ever did. I think. I could be wrong. Now, does this affect TAC City? No, it does not. Because if you look at the TAC City /SpeedQB model, it was $25 a player for a 5-player team with one sub. So 600, oh boy, 150 for a full team. Does that sound? I'm a marketing major, not a math major. Hang on. Let me be factually accurate. 25 times 150. I got that right. Don't judge. Don't you judge me. I suck at math. That's why I've got to take my shoes off sometimes to count. So 150 per team if that team used a sub. Some did, some didn't. So, and that's the day. Like, that was a full day. So, and how many, I can't remember off the top of my head how many teams were registered. And the average, let's look up what it cost for a normal entry fee. I think it's 25, 30. What is it? What am I doing? I don't care that you want me to. You should edit these videos. Shut up. No, I'm not going to. 15, 25. That's right. So the average entry for TAC City is $25. So you get, what, 10, 15 teams? Maybe you're making money. Maybe you're not. Maybe you would make more money on a regular weekend. I don't know. I don't know what a normal weekend at TAC City looks like. I would bet that on an average Saturday, TAC City would make more money on a general play day than on a tournament. Because then if you have a tournament, those guys are already bringing stuff. They have usually nothing else to purchase at your store. If you're looking at a regular play day, well, now you've got field entry plus rentals. Laptop went to sleep. Laptop went to sleep. Here we are. You've got field entry, plus anyone that needs rental gear, plus anyone that may want to purchase extra, stuff. They want to buy more BBs, or maybe they want to buy a gun, or maybe they want to get some, stuff. You have more options to monetize your day without a tournament. A tournament, pretty much you get the field fee and that's it. Even then, Tax City's not getting a full... I would imagine. I don't understand what the contractual obligation was between the vendor for the facility versus SpeedQB. I don't know what that money looked like. I am willing to bet that Tax City only got a piece of that, which means Sonny's making even less money. Look, Sonny's told me before he was losing money on tournaments for basically that reason. I did not ask what the details were on the money. It's none of my business. It would have been kind of rude on my part to be like, really? Let me see your number. Can I see your receipts? Let me see what that contract. No. So I don't know. I don't know what the facility charge was. I don't know. I have no idea. N1 is way more of a player's field, I think, especially when you look at the hardcore niche market of tournaments. I think N1 is going to be more... I don't know if friendly is the right word. I think it will be more... I think SpeedQB will be more received at N1 by the airsoft community. Because there's... I don't really hear any drama about N1 versus this negative perception that players have with Tax City. Again, you don't get to tell me that you don't like Tax City because you feel like they run it more like a business. That doesn't count with me. That doesn't count. Because you have to run a business like a business in order for that business to succeed. So that with me, that argument is invalid. You can't you can't be mad at a for-profit business for trying to generate profit. Duh, that's what they do. Now, can you argue maybe you think Sonny's a jerk, or you don't like the way he runs the for-profit? Okay, sure, maybe. Okay, I will accept that. But being mad at a businessman for trying to pay his rent, for trying to maintain his facility and trying to generate a profit so he can eat, yeah, that's what he's gonna do. So there's that. Will I be going down to SpeedQB tournament in November? I am going to try. I don't know what my schedule is going to look like. I will be in the... Is that the fall? Do they call that the fall semester? Or the winter semester? I'll be in school. If it's on a weekend, yeah, I will most likely end up shooting down there. Excuse me. Pending my schedule. Excuse me again. Pending my schedule, I will most likely be down there. If they want me, SpeedQB wants my help, all you gotta do is slide in my DMs, homie. You want me to ref it? I'll act as a ref. That's fine with me. For free. I don't care. I don't care. I do things for free. A lot. If you want me to do a comment, if you want to do a play-by-play, that's what I want to see. What I want to see. I don't know if anyone has Wi-Fi. What I would love to see is I'm still waiting for an indoor airsoft tournament to broadcast tournaments, kind of like esports does, kind of like any other sport. You would have multiple stationary cameras set up. Maybe you would have a drone that you could... Basically, you would have a multi-feed thing. Cameras in each corner of the structure, kind of a thing. Maybe some pan-tilt zoom action. Stuff like that. That I feel like that would cost a lot of money, and it's probably not really worth it from a financial standpoint. But boy, would that be cool. Kind of like with paintball, with the speedball tournaments. Not NXT. Give me my phone. Again, I don't edit any of this, and I never will. What you see is what we're going to do. What is the paintball format I'm thinking of? Paintball tournament. NXL. I always want to say NXT, but NXT is pro wrestling. like what NXL does. They have a couple of cameras set up and kind of stationary. They don't really zoom in. Some stationary cameras with a decent angle. They have a couple guys running commentary. I'd love to be on that. I'd love to run color. I think that'd be really cool. So that's it. That's all I can really think of at the moment. Yeah, N1, send me a shirt. Or I'll just buy one when I get down there. So, that is it. Congratulations to Tax City. Congratulations to N1. Congratulations to SpeedQB. I think everyone wins in this equation. I do not see a single loser. Everyone wins with this move. For me, in my opinion, it's a clean break. Clean breakup. But the future will tell, and we'll have to see what's going on with the next their next tournament. One thing I am curious about, I would like to still be curious about, is what will N1 do with Jungle Ball? Will this change anything with Jungle Ball? I don't think it will, because Jungle Ball is part of N1, and SpeedQB isn't like, it's not like they're going to do tournaments and stuff like every month, I would assume. And I would assume N1 will still be able to do both formats. But the first thing I thought of when I saw this was, ooh, I wonder what this will do with Jungle Ball. I assume it makes no difference. It changes it, none at all. So that is it. I am done with all of you. Go away. Oh, this is my dad's office. Yeah, everyone is sick in my house except me. So I went to the more quiet room in the house. So there's that. I feel fine. Saturday will be Milsim Day. Probably not a lot of people are going to show up because they don't want to be that hardcore, because I put in some uniform requirements. If they don't show up, cool. Then that day is not for them. I will do a thing on that later. Airsoft Fight Camp is coming up. I will probably do a video on that afterwards, after the fight camp. And that's it. Okay, go away, bye. Where is it? Where was it?